us. Do you guys want to share anything that's happening? Anyone have any good news or any questions before we jump in? Linda, if I recall correctly, you say you've got a channel where you've got some good content and the engagement isn't quite where you wanted it to be.
Correct. Yes.
Have you
Yeah,
taken
but
any
this-
of the
Good.
actions we've talked about so far to like revitalize it or see if you can create more engagement?
So we're gonna start with our most recent one. So the most recent one, we just put up one, actually it's going on today. And it's actually more a community one. We're doing a blood drive.
Mhm.
So we've been more purposeful about our description, more purposeful on our thumbnail. So we're much closer. We've got, because it's myself and my business partner, so there are a lot of times two faces on there, but
Mhm.
we're much closer. We're making space. We have a thing. So just so when I see that in our YouTube channel and I'm looking between what we put up and that, I can definitely see how that even that thumbnail with that closer, that's what my
Makes a difference.
Yeah, it definitely has. It's surprising, but it definitely made a difference there.
Good.
So,
And I'm not sure if it's you or your partner who has the bear in their yard, but that's really cool. It's huge.
yeah, that's like he lives up on a right by conservation land and trails, so he's got his trail cam out there. So he's had foxes. He always gets that always gets lots of views when we have
Yeah,
wildlife up there. But yeah.
it's very cool.
Very cool. And then the other thing, I haven't had a chance yet, but I'm happy to. And I think Aaron and Ruby, you've already been looking at their channel, but we can also look and we'll give you some customized feedback if you want it.
Yeah, we did a pretty deep dive into their channel last week.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, good.
All
All right, well, let's get started. We might have a small group today, which is fine with me. So we will jump right in.
I think Linda's gonna try to. Linda's gonna try to jump in for a bit, but she does have an appointment with a client at kind of around lunchtime today.
Well, you know what, Linda is. I'd rather have her out there face to face, voice to voice, lining up some contracts. So that's fine with me. And then she's made that smart choice that she's got you and you're here, so you can share it with her. So today we wanted to go into best practices and how you can create a system to make sure that on every upload, you're setting yourself up for success right from the upload and just keeping it as a system so that you increase your chances of engagement. So we're going to go through best practices that you can do on every video you upload. You can also go back through your current library and you can do the best practice on every single video on there. So we're going to jump into that checklist and it's going to be something you can implement right away. So we're going to go over all 10 right now. So these are the 10, and this is backed by data. It is supported by the analytics that are right within YouTube. And so these are the 10 things that are going to set you up for the highest level of success. Obviously, some of these are things we've covered. So your title, you want your title to have keywords. You want to inform the algorithm of exactly what that video is going to be about and who it is for, so they know who to put it in front of. The thumbnail, we've discussed that at length, and Linda, you shared with us that just making that one change, even you could see like, oh, that is more engaging, right? So the thumbnail. The descriptions, especially the first few lines, because that is what people can see if they happen to click on, they're gonna see those first few lines. You want it to be full of keywords. You want it to be very specific to what you are going to cover. And you want to have any additional hooks or curiosity inducers in those first few lines to grab the attention of a new viewer. The tags, I don't care what YouTube says, or even any the other gurus or information you may see out there that say they aren't important. They don't hurt you, and I would still use it. So info cards, that is another one where some people will say that it's not as beneficial and not many people will use them. I know as a heavy user, very often when I am listening to someone that I trust and they happen to say, if you'd like more information on, blah, 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 just click right here, and they just point up to the upper part of their screen and there's the card there. I click on it. And a lot of times I'll click on it, I mute it and pause it. I finish the video I'm on, and then I watch the next one. So as a user, I still like them, and many of the content creators that I follow still use them, and I would use an info card. If you could challenge yourself to put an info card in each video, I think then it just becomes a habit. So as you are recording your videos, get used to saying, if you'd like more information on the restaurant scene in San Diego, just click right up here. It has a whole video that'll tell you my top 10. Something like that. Just get in the habit of doing that midway through or a third of the way through your video. Aaron and Ruby, if you have a different opinion on the timing and placement, we can talk about that.
Well, it also tells the algorithm that you are promoting. You're doing everything in your power to keep viewers on your channel watching your content. And that is the main goal of the platform, is to keep people on it for as long as humanly possible.
To keep people on YouTube. Exactly right. I'm glad you said that. So that you're showing the YouTube overlords. Yes, overlord. I am attempting to keep people on YouTube.
And is there some sort of template somewhere where you do with that info card, or is it just something that you put yourself into that video? I've never used those.
It's very easy. It's one of the steps in your upload. Aaron, maybe that's something that you could show when we share the screen of where you put that in. It's very easy. Everything that we're saying to you today on this checklist, it's so easy, and agents could do it. I say that with love because I include myself in that. So these are all easy. No coding required. All right, so end screen. Always add an end screen with another video or a playlist for someone to click on and watch. And again, as a heavy user, I will tell you, I am watching, the other day I watched a guy that I like about music, and it was the 20 best keyboard intros in rock songs. And I'm all into that. And I'm arguing with a video because there were some songs he left out that I thought, and I'm in the comments. And then sure enough, his end screen, it had the 20 best bassline intros. Well, guess what? Click. And then I watched that one, right? So just make sure you have the end screen. I really like that idea of, you can set it up where it auto populates with your most recent posting and your most viewed posting. So like you can set it up where that happens, or it could be your most recent video and a designated playlist, of yours. So just play around with the end screens. If you have more questions, let us know. This one, I will tell you guys. So when I internet stalk agents' YouTube channels, every time I start playing their video, I immediately scroll down, not to see the description. I scroll down to see if they pinned a comment. And guess what? Very few people pin a comment. And I'm like, yeah, pin the comment. Do you guys, let me ask this, because I want to make sure that I know that not everyone is as heavy a user as I am. Do you guys know what a pinned comment is? Would you like me to show you a pinned comment and break it down further when we're showing the screen?
In my from this class, or the last one we did last week, I did go in and I put a comment and I saw where I could pin it.
Okay, good.
I did do that already.
Good. And one of the things that I will hear back is people will say, well, I pinned comments with engaging questions on about 40 videos and no one ever answered anything except my mother. And I'm like, well, okay. 40 is not enough. We do have some data that says it's after about 80 long form videos with a pinned comment. That's when you can expect to have maybe a few people answer your engaging question. It's usually going to be closer to about 120 to 130. Okay, so just make sure I've got to get a copy of this. Aaron, if you can remind me, or Ruby. There's an old square comic, a comic that's just one square. And it's this little man digging a tunnel with a pickaxe. And he's digging this tunnel, and the tunnel is really long. And the treasure that he's attempting to find is like this close on the other end of the pickaxe. And that's right when he turned around to leave, right? I need to find that again because I believe that's what happens a lot. We are as an industry, people that like immediate gratification. We're already dealing with a long sales cycle. So we've had to develop patience in terms of sales and getting paid. And it's annoying that there's one more thing that could take a while. And yet, if you will just pickaxe through it, the treasure's on the other side. So
And
keep
don't
going.
look at it so much as, well, I've pinned all these comments and nobody ever, engages. Also look at it from the fact that you're feeding the robot. Right now, you're
Mhm.
feeding the algorithm and you're giving it all the nutrients that it needs to grow. So if
That's
you
right.
look at it from not oh, well, nobody ever comments back or anything like that, stop and look at it from the algorithm's perspective. If you're trying to engage with your audience and if you're trying to promote your own videos, it's going to look upon those two things very favorably.
Yes, the YouTube algorithm overlord will show favor upon you. And that's where, who was it? Spear Realty Group that reached out to us last week and said, guess what? We just got our first real lead off YouTube. So if you can just tell yourself, I am feeding a robot overlord. And if I feed it and I I kiss the ring long enough, it will spit out a human at me that wants to buy real estate in my market. Because that's what's happening. Now I hope you enjoy that and that you visualize it and replay it for yourself. I like to incorporate humor because it allows things to become clear more quickly. So the other thing I look at is I scroll down, I look to see if they pinned a comment, and then I look to see if they responded to and hearted any comments that were left there. And I can't stress enough in these early stages of creating engagement, feeding the robot, and attempting to stimulate the algorithm. Everyone that leaves a comment, you want to heart it and you want to say thank you, at least. At best, you want to say, hey, thanks for your comment. Have you ever been to San Diego? Like, because you'll be shocked how often. And by the way, they might not answer what you've put on their comment for months. And then all of a sudden, months later, you're gonna see like notification, comment, and it'll say like, yeah, I came to San Diego when I was 12. It was 1976. And you're gonna be like, what the heck is that? And then you'll, click on it, like, oh, that's from a comment I left 3 years ago. So just know that it's not the same timeliness, but still put it there. Okay. One of the only times, and we're going to go into this in the best practices, one of the only times that you don't want to like or comment is if it truly is a robot or spam or if it's offensive. So that's the only time you don't, that's when you want to remove that. Although you should all have your settings set for that automatic moderator on your posts as well. So captions, almost 90% of people are watching on a mobile device. Add captions whenever you're able so they can watch anywhere. In addition, there are a lot of users that have videos going when they're in an area where they cannot have sound for whatever reason. And so then if you have captions, they'll still watch your video and they'll just read captions. Okay. And then chapters on videos over 3 minutes, add chapters whenever appropriate. And there's a way that YouTube will use AI to create chapters if you would like for it to do that, and your video is over 3 minutes long. It makes a huge difference. I'm going to give you a real-time example from the day before yesterday. So I have been curious about this Madam Web movie that was coming out. And I will not be going to see that. But I've been curious about how it will be received and everything. So I went to YouTube, I put in Madam Web. I saw one of my subscribed to channels pop up right away. And the video that he had posted at that time was a big panel discussion that was an hour and 34 minutes long. Guess who's in this Zoom room who's not going to watch an hour and 34-minute long video? That would be me, right? But guess what? He had chapters, and the chapters were labeled. So I went to my little play line and I scrolled along till it said Madam Web Reviews. Click. I watched it. I was happy as could be. Right. So again, I like giving you guys those examples of what the heavy users do. Because it's showing you, like, if I can give you that instance from a day and a half ago, it's something that happens all the time. It's just what they're looking for. Okay. All right. Are there any before we move away from this sort of brilliant slide, any questions about any of this?
I just have on the keywords. I know you put in the title, and when I have the description, and the keywords just words you type in there, or is there a
Aaron?
I think she froze.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she froze or I froze. That's why I was hoping, like, if it was
Yeah.
me, you would answer.
It wasn't me this week.
Oh, Linda, you froze there for a second.
Yeah.
So with the keywords, I'm going to give my answer, and then I would love for Ruby or Aaron to, add in your thoughts on it. I find it's most effective when you know what the keywords are, and then you weave it into conversational language. So instead of the first 3 lines of your description being like, homes for sale in San Diego, restaurant San Diego is the best place in the world, blah, 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 San Diego. Instead of doing that, you actually make it sound like you're talking in your voice. So it'd be like, you know what, when I'm asked, what are the best restaurants in San Diego, or which homes for sale in San Diego would you buy today, right? So you weave it in, you weave them in. It's very similar to in NLP, embedded commands. So, with embedded commands, you're using assumptive language and you're just stating how you want things to be, right? Or the action they're going to take. So in my opinion, especially in that description, you want it to be like, so you want to know the 5 mistakes sellers make in San Diego? I'm going to tell you right now, and then whatever the keywords were, overpricing, understaging, whatever, like I would take them and I'd say, like, the first one is blah, the second, make it flow, not just segments.
It's also a great place in your description to use alternative keywords. So in the English language, we have multiple ways of saying the same thing. So in order to be found on search more easily, if you take some of the other ways of saying whatever it is your keyword is, you can sneak them into the description and increase your chances. So like auto, car, vehicle, for example, if I was doing a car video, I would sneak all of those into the title, thumbnail, and description.
Yep. Ruby, anything to add? Or
Yes, coach. This might kind of different in a way, but if you doing like place by places content in your in your video, you can use the lingo or the language that they are using. For example, is San Diego, in New York, or some in those kind of areas that there are sayings that is popular. Those can bring your videos in front of the people around those area.
that's right.
Yeah, using the dialect that
of the
is
area.
in your region.
So if Linda dropped in some hang tens and dudes, she's going to get more engagement. And then Linda, I spend a lot of time in Maine, and there's a nickname for people from Massachusetts. I wouldn't use that. You probably know what I'm talking about. And then you guys have an equally affectionate nickname for the Mainers, and I wouldn't use that. However, yeah, you want to use lingo, especially lingo that is beloved or fun or accepted, or kind of makes you feel and sound like me.
Okay.
All right, good. All right, we're gonna move away from this. You can print this out. I would print this out. I'd give it to your admin staff. I would laminate it, stick it on your desk, but you want to make sure that you are doing that as often as possible. So we're going to shift now a little bit to the rules of engagement, because the rules of engagement, especially on YouTube, but also on the other platforms, there can be slight differences amongst the different platforms. And one of the ways that people get themselves in trouble on YouTube is the feeling of anonymity is greater there. So people will be jerks thinking that it's not going to have a repercussion. The reality is it can, and it will. So let's just talk about rules of engagement. Not that you guys would be jerks, but you need to know how to handle jerks that are trolls and or just rude. So let's talk about comments. Comments are tough because every single bit, remember, we're feeding a robot and we're feeding them zeros and ones. And the more zeros and ones we feed them, the more they like us. So every time someone leaves a comment, it's actually to your advantage. Every time somebody dislikes your video, it's to your advantage, because YouTube says that creator made somebody take an action. So you will actually, if you start watching a lot of YouTube, you're going to hear some creators and they'll say things like, if you like this video, smash like. If you didn't, smash the unlike. Because they just know that it all benefits them, right? So rude comment. Why am I going on about that? Usually the first response is, I'm going to delete that. They said they didn't like Keller Williams. I'm deleting it. I'm going to tell you to reconsider. So if they made a rude comment that is not straight up remarkably offensive. So if they just said something rude, like, I had a Keller Williams agent that wasn't great, or I'd never live in San Diego, California is going to fall off a cliff. Okay, don't delete it, answer it. And as Aaron says, kill them with kindness. So what you would do, what have we learned already, just as being great sales agents? You repeat and affirm, you make them feel heard and understood, and then you graciously offer another comment. So let's use the, I don't like Southern California, y'all can go to heck. Which it would be a different word, but you get my gist. You could come on and say, you know what, Ruby, I understand you can feel that way. And living in Southern California is not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. I do know agents on the East Coast. I could connect you with someone in Massachusetts. Would you prefer an oceanfront on the Atlantic? So like, just see what I mean? Like, just turn it around, be like, hey, all right. Oh, Keller Williams. Oh, KW is the work of Satan. Okay. Don't delete it. Just say, like, wow. And I want you to know that I hear you. And it sounds like you had a bad experience. As a realtor for 26 years, that really hurts my heart when I know someone had unmet expectations. Any way I can help you, let me know. Good luck to them in the future, right? So just kill them with kindness. So I know that sounds small, especially right now. If you're not getting a lot of comments, you're kind of like, why is she going on about it? Every comment, especially when you're not getting a lot, is so valuable. Like, you don't want to delete it because you're at, it's, now, so a couple of exceptions. If someone says something outright atrocious, and I don't even want to give an example, you guys get what I mean. If they say something truly horrific, take it down. I'd even go so far, because you guys, you're a small group here. If you're not sure, send a quick email to me. Aaron and Ruby and I will be like, oh, we'll look at it. And if we think you should delete it, we'll tell you right away. If we don't, we'll respond to the commenter.
And that's
Okay.
the other thing. Sometimes the rude comments of, like Bridget was saying, oh, I hate, California or whatever. The people who love California, if they see
They come
that,
in.
they're going to start engaging, and boom, next thing you know, your comment section is blown up.
And that's what we want, right? So it sounds little, but this is, it's key. And the more comments you get and people engaging with each other, the higher the algorithm is going to place you. You will get in front of more eyes if you're getting more comments. Okay. So you do want to engage with other content. So one of the things people may not know about is you're on YouTube as a user and a creator, and the robot looks at all of your activity. So if they see that, like, oh, wow, you liked 12 videos in the last 3 days, plus you commented on 15, it sees you as an engaged actor. Okay. So you want to, and it is, don't be stingy. And it doesn't matter what your comment is. It could literally be, that's cool. Or like, because again, it's a robot, it doesn't matter. So just put comments. And by the way, you can time block this. Now, one of the things, so you can say like, okay, I'm going to go on YouTube for 15 minutes. I'm going to comment and like on a bunch of shorts and 2 3-minute videos. So you can like time block it. One thing I would ask is, it's very detrimental in the early stages, as we've discussed before, to start a video of someone you know and like and not allow it to run all the way through. So just make sure. And so when I do it and I'm time blocking, I end up with 7 tabs open and videos are running, just so they get the full runtime on the different tabs, because I don't want to close out of a video. One other thing I would recommend, and I did this on mine, is if you're going to be doing that and you want to support your colleagues, turn off autoplay. So YouTube is set up where one video ends, another one begins. One video ends, another one begins. And even if you haven't selected what you want that next video to be, it's going to take a stab at what they think you would like and pop it up there. But you can turn off autoplay. So that way you can be respectful, you can help your friends get full views, and you're not going to be stuck with like, oh no, another one started. Oh no, another one started. Right. So just turn off autoplay. Okay. So make sure you engage and be positive in your engagements. I know all of you would be. It's not really, but just
How about the one that private message basic soliciting business? Do you just say thank you, I'm not looking forward to it, or what would be the best way?
I'm sorry, if someone direct
Private
message.
message, they basically solicit business like,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
I can help you with the ranking, all that, and
Yeah.
you can see that they mass copy paste.
yeah. So on private messages, you
Yeah.
don't need for it. Just don't answer.
Or don't answer at all.
Yeah, you don't even have to answer.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes they
And-
keep on messaging so many times, and I just don't know. I'm like, well, I'm not sure if they have any influence or not. So I'm just like, I'm not interested.
Or just say remove me. Yeah, just take it.
Remove me. Okay.
Because one of the things that can happen is, like we talked about, the average I think is 87. After 87 videos being posted, most people are getting inquiries or leads. Especially if you do it within a somewhat tight time frame. So not 87 videos over the last 10 years, but in a time frame. So one of the things that can happen is if your direct message box is full of nonsense, then you could actually miss out on someone who's like, hey, I'm getting transferred. I'm in Minnesota. I'm getting transferred to Massachusetts. Can you tell me about X, Y, and Z? So I would get them out. If you want to answer, just answer nicely, like you're saying, like, thank you so much. I have that covered. Good luck to you. Please remove me. Okay. All right. Oh, one other quick thing. Make sure, and this is just something that people just might not know. So on YouTube, it's considered really offensive if you're on someone else's video and in their comments, you post a link to anything to do with you or any of your videos or your business. And they will remove it and they might block you, and it's like, it's not cool. It is like, that's one of the cardinal rules on YouTube. If you, now it can create engagement, and don't do it to any other creator either. So if you're on a creator's video, and you have seen another one that they did that was fantastic, the only thing you could do is you could say, oh my gosh, this video is great. It's nearly as good as the one that you did about Flo's hot dogs and a banquet. Right. Yeah. So you could reference something else they created, but at no time are you going to say something like, hey, if you're interested in this, check out my YouTube channel. It has blah, blah, blah. That's a big no. Okay. So I just want to mention that because some people might not even realize that that is just verboten in YouTube. Okay. So you want to start looking at your analytics, and with your analytics, as you're building your channel, you're not going to have a lot, but you want to get familiar and comfortable with all of them anyway. So I recommend at least once a month, schedule 20 minutes or half an hour to go in, set a timer, and literally click on every single thing. You can't break it, you can't hurt it. So just click on everything. And if you don't quite understand what they're talking about, make a note and send an email so Aaron Ruby or I can go ahead and just be like, oh, average view length or most replayed moment means blah, blah, blah. Like, we can share with you what we know, but get familiar with the analytics. We're going to open it up and we're going to look at some of those today. And we're going to tell you some of the key ones that you want to look at now. So some of the key ones, and we've talked about this. So how long is a viewer watching your content before clicking out? Are you delivering on your thumbnail and title? And is your content too long? So your average view duration, you really want to keep an eye on that. If your opener.
Did you,
Yeah,
I think you
there's some-
froze there.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if people are bouncing out right at the beginning, you've got to change your opener. If people are bouncing out at the 2/3 mark, then you want to listen to your videos and you want to listen to see if you're saying things like, I just have one more thing to share with you, or, and as we wrap up, you know, like, and get, purge it, purge. Remember, you want to just deliver content, bye, right? You don't want to give any heads up. You want people to get lost in what you're saying and then be there and be like, oh, is the video over? That's the desired outcome. Okay. One other thing to look at with duration is, are they not making it, like they're making it beyond the first few seconds, but they're all bouncing out before the halfway mark? Then you really want to look at, are you delivering what was promised in the title soon enough and clearly enough? Okay. So traffic source, that one gets really fun. Now, when you first start, it's hard. There's hardly, sometimes it says there's not enough data to give you feedback. But it's interesting when you look at your traffic source and you can really see where your views coming from. Then you can really focus your effort and look for ways to increase the areas that are underperforming. You can also cater to the areas that are performing. I'm going to give one quick example. Let's say that you're Linda L and you're in San Diego and you see that the bulk of your business is coming from New England. Well, I might look at having some videos about, could I really move from New England to San Diego? You know, like, you can start to customize some content that may enhance where it's performing well. You may also purposefully time some things so that it would be an appealing time range for that time zone. So it's something that is interesting and it's really fun when you start seeing like, wow, someone's watching from Dubai, or someone's watching from France, so you'll start to see things, and it's actually fun, and it's a way to keep your engagement going with what you're doing. Do you guys want to add anything to traffic source?
The only thing I would add is as your channel grows, you'll be able to see where you can start focusing to get the traffic from the underperforming areas. So if you're
Right.
not getting a lot of views via search, then you can start
How
going,
could you
okay,
enhance that?
yeah, I need to definitely get more keywords into my, thumbnails and titles and descriptions so that I can be found on
Oh,
search.
right. Or like if you are getting a lot from Instagram, but you're not from Facebook. Yeah. And it just, yeah. So that would be really good. And then your click-through rate. So this is going to let you know if your thumbnail and your title are working for your content. So the click-through rate, it's the percentage of times that a viewer has clicked into your content when your thumbnail has been in their feed or their search. If your click-through rate is less than 2%, you want to really adjust your thumbnails and your titles. So YouTube keeps track of how many times your thumbnail video, the person scrolled enough that you scrolled past their eyes. Did they click on it or did they keep going? Another place that impacts click-through rate is when you're watching a video, there's recommended videos down the side. Did they see it down the side? Did they click through from there? But you want to, they track that and they'll tell you your rate. Hey, we put this in front of 1,000 people, 2 people click through. All right, well, then we need to look at thumbnail, we need to look at the engaging question, we need to change it. Audience retention. So audience retention shows when people are leaving your content and when people are replaying your content. It's a great indicator that what you're doing is right. And it can also show you what you need to improve upon. The goal is to improve with each new upload. So Aaron and Ruby, do you want to add anything in particular in that audience retention area?
When you start getting more views and you go into that chart, it'll start making a lot more sense. And any place that's got a peak, like a mountain, that's where people have come back and watched again. If it's a flat line, people have just let it play through. And then it'll show when it dips where people are either fast forwarding or leaving. So it's a little roadmap to show you where you can improve on your storytelling and presenting of your content. Again, it's one of those analytics that gets better the more people
Right.
view your content, but
Right.
it is pretty cool.
And then Ruby actually put the actual formula for the click-through rate in the chat. If you want to grab that, you can see how they calculate it. Thank you, Ruby.
Coach, I also
So a
wanted
couple
to add,
things to, what'd you say?
I wanted to add something about the audience retention, and then
Mhm.
also like tying it with your average view duration. In those times, I know content creators that they uses those when you see your average view duration, for example, you have a 6-minute video and then you see your average view duration is only for 3 minutes. That is when they look into their video, what are they saying in those times that made the people or the viewers click out on their videos or go to the next video.
Mhm.
And one horrible thing is they go out of YouTube because your overall content is not promising enough, right?
Right.
So that is when that's when content creators do like snippets. Like if they put 6 minutes in the first time, on the second or the third scenarios, they will put episodes in everything in per topic. And that's what made you have content every week, every other day, out in your channel, that made you very active in your channel. You can get every content, every details that you wanted to ask, engagement that you can get in that tiny topic that you mentioned in those 3 minutes, something like that.
And Ruby also brings up another good point. There are creators where their average video is, say, 5.5 minutes long, and their average view duration is 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So guess what they do? All their next videos are 3 minutes and 9 seconds. So you actually cut it to meet like when people are jumping off, and so that you can, because remember, we are feeding the robot. So if we just want good reports for the robot, that's one of the ways that you do it.
It's
'Cause
also
then-
a great way to start a watch trap, because like Bridget
Mhm.
said earlier, if you see a video that's an hour and a half long, you're going to say, no way, I'm not clicking into that. You're going to look for a shorter video with similar content or find the chapter. But people are going to sit there and watch an hour and a half worth of content anyway. So if it's in little bite-size
Mhm.
pieces, they're more likely to set up a watch trap and watch one after the other.
Right. And that, and going back to that example, so that particular creator, his name is Nerdrotic. He records a big long panel, he puts it out, and then over the course of the next week, he breaks it into chunks and posts the chunks. I just didn't want to wait for the chunk, so that's why I liked that there was the chapter. Okay. So if you have a high click-through rate, so it's important to know that if you have a high click-through rate and very low view duration, your audience is looking at your thumbnail and your title is clickbait. While not intentional, you still want to make sure that you're delivering on the promise made in your title and your thumbnail. So you want to get right to the point as soon as the content starts and deliver what you advertised. Okay. So there are tools out there that make all of this much easier. TubeBuddy helps simplify the entire process. It ensures that you're not going to miss out on any of the best practices. It will literally give you an alert if there's any of the best practices that are missing from any of your videos. So when you go into your studio, you'll see like 3 videos with an alert. Oh, you forgot an info card. Oh, you forgot a pinned comment. And it's like a little assistant AI that is making sure that you're getting the most out of every upload. So there's a link there. It's a free version that you can download on, you can download it on Chrome. I think there's like 3 browsers that it works best with. But get that and at least use the free version while you're getting yourself launched. This we just wanted to give you. This is actually also, Aaron thought this would be a good thing for you to print out. So this just tells you the key analytics that are the most critical that you want to keep an eye on as you're developing your channel. So getting views. So you can make really great content and still struggle as a small channel or struggle to get views. So the more a video is viewed, the more likely the algorithm is to push it out to other viewers. And how can you stack the deck in your favor? So you want to get everyone to watch it. You can put together, like, this is a great time to ask your inner circle for a favor. So if you just, ask your inner circle, send out an email and say, could you do me a favor? Could you subscribe to my YouTube channel? And could you watch some of the videos? What I'm gonna discourage you, and Aaron and Ruby, I'd love your feedback. I would not recommend just putting a bunch of video links in your email because the algorithm tracks that differently. If you have a view that comes from an email you sent to someone, it is tracked differently than views within the site. So if you just say, like, could you please check out my YouTube channel and give them the link to your channel, then they get on your channel and then they start watching videos. And say that you are really revamping your video channel and your content, and you want to make sure that it's valuable and that it's informative. And if you ask people to watch your videos and give you feedback, guess what you're going to get?
Feedback.
Views and feedback. Yes, because if you ask your inner circle, they're happy to help. So you'll get comments. They'll go in and they'll put comments. The other thing to do is go far flung. So everyone here, you all know people all around the country. So it's very valuable when you get different IPs in different locations watching your videos. So ask people all around the country to go ahead and watch it. You can also watch it yourself. I don't remember. I used to remember the formula, and frankly, it's probably changed since I knew it. But some of your own views count. Now, if you just watched your same video over and over and over in one day, that's not going to count as a bunch of views. But you can rewatch some of your videos. And Ruby, what is it? You have to have the volume on above 10 or something for it to count. What's the volume consideration?
At least 50% up, coach.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you've got to have volume on. You can watch it yourself. You can also go to incognito screens and watch your videos on incognito screens. So those are things you can do. You can also share it in other locations. So this also goes back to that traffic analytic that we were talking about. So let's say that you have a Facebook group about San Diego. You can post it in there. YouTube is going to tell you had 5 views from Facebook. And if you tie it back to the time when you made that post, it's probably from that post you made. So, share it in your other locations. Do not forget Twitter. Twitter is a great place to post links, and because the culture in X is different, like the behavior in X is different, you can have people in X, they're not going to stop following you because you posted 5 links in a day. The news feed and the way people engage with it is different. So it's a great place to get links out there, tag them in a different way every time you post it. And it's a way to get good engagement, especially right when you launch a video.
And if you're doing anything on a professional series, for realtors, then you can also do LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yes, do LinkedIn. You can also collaborate with each other. We're going to get into collaborations, I think, next week. But, that's a great way where, 5 of you across the country, especially doing luxury properties, you can do a collaboration. And that's when in your description, you'd say, collaborating with 5 Lindas, one in San Jose, San Diego, Cape Cod, then you can refer to each other. That's going to give you exposure as well. So share in other locations and share with other people. All right, we do have a group sheet of everyone that's engaged. You can scan here to get your copy of the sheet if you don't have it. And then I think, do we want to go and just show some real time?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to pull up and just look at some basic analytics so people know how to find them and what they look like.
All right. Let me share. Okay, so this is my YouTube news feed as a consumer, right? I want to look at my analytics, so I'm going to go over here and click on my little face, and I'm going to put YouTube Studio. That takes me, so now YouTube, I'm not interacting as a consumer. Now I'm interacting as a creator. And then see right here under it says dashboard content analytics. Okay. So right here is an overview. It has 94 views in the last 28 days. The views were up. It even tells you there were 4 more than usual. Watch time in hours, 7. It's about the same as usual. And 9 new subscribers. It does give you a little day-by-day chart down here of the activity. And it will tell you, so see if I click here to see where there was a spike, how to title a video to get more clicks. This one was make amazing thumbnails. So it will, when it has that there, you can see, oh, which video was getting that interaction. See right here, it says see more. You can click see more. And then nothing will happen. There we go. I don't know why it's being slow. So if you come in here, and this is what I was talking about, if you just set aside half an hour a month, you can come in here and you can really look and start to learn, what does all of this mean? So this first one is the content. Like, so I can look to see what gets the most content. Hands down, my video that gets the most views and the most content is Reverse Bold 100. Guys, you got to remind me to make a fresh version of that. But see how it's color coded, and you can kind of look to see what is getting, what's getting engagement and what's getting views. It will also, if you come down here, it gives you a breakdown line by line with your videos. And it'll give you more information in terms of the views, the watch time, whether or not somebody subscribed because of that video. It will also tell you how many impressions there were for that, how many times your video thumbnail were shown to viewers, and then the click-through rate. Okay. And I think that's the key thing. And again, it'll give you input into what's creating engagement and getting impressions and what's not. So sometimes you're going to make the stronger. Other times you're going to find one that's floundering and you'll figure out how to make it better.
You can do this on every single video individually as well.
Yes.
So you're looking at, like, if you have one that's a flop, you can go into it and look at all the analytics from that video and maybe get some information on how to make the next one better.
Right. So let me, yeah, and so, right, because here we clicked onto from the overview. So that's why it's giving us the full information. But we can go back and we can look at it per video. And then here, this is where you're going to see where did the views come from? Channel pages, browse features, YouTube search, external, suggested videos, like playlists. So it's going to give you information. But that's what I'm encouraging you, is like, come in here and just click on everything and see what you can see. Okay. Surprise, surprise. The majority of my views are from the US. Not surprising. As you get more data, it will tell you the average viewer age and the viewer gender. But that is something that you've got to have enough demographic data for them to actually show that. It will also show you how many of your views are from subscribers and how many are from non-subscribers. Okay. If you notice up here, it has options of secondary metrics. So there's subscription status. And then maybe I also want to know the average view duration. So you can click on this and then it would give you additional data. Okay. So play around in here. The more you know this, the the more that you're going to see how, like, is there anyone, have you ever had that feeling like, well, I'm putting out videos and I'm doing this, but nothing's happening. Now you can look and you can see, well, what could I change? And it gives you a little bit more insight and a little bit more ability to do field testing to see what would work or not work to get more views. Any questions on that?
Coach, I wanted to add, I think this is something, I wanted to put it out there. As someone who's looking on your analytics, if you're curious, if you wanted to jump on the normal video, like the landscape, or you wanted to jump on the shorts, there is a part in your analytics that you can see where are they watching your videos. So if you keep on putting out the landscape, the normal videos, you can see if
Oops.
if they are using their phone or their laptop or their desktop. So if there's a high percentage that they're watching over their phone, that might be your signal to go and create shorts videos so they can see
Right.
you better and listen to you better, get the attention, the audience attention and average view duration that you can get in your channel.
Right. So also back on the dashboard, you even get analytics right here. So you have a brief summary of the channel, but you also get analytics on the last video that you posted. And it's pretty interesting. You can see, so like this last one I posted, it didn't do as well as 3 of the other recent ones that I posted in its first 24 hours, first 2 days and 1 hour. It will tell you the views, the click-through rate, the average duration. Then you can go to the video analytics specifically on that. Your latest comments here, which you can go through and see everyone who commented. So in terms of keeping up with commenting and hearting on comments, this makes it easy. You can see who's subscribed, and you can go through and you could actually, even if you wanted to, create some engagement with that new subscriber, just so they almost, can feel as if you've acknowledged that they that you recognize that they subscribe to your channel. So there's a lot even right here on the dashboard. If you go to your content tab, it does give you the full list of all the videos, when they were published, the views. You get information here that makes it really easy for you to make things work. I mean, the platform itself has really advanced into making this easier to use and for you to be able to create engagement. No one's mentioning me. I'm very sad.
Coach, I want to remind Linda, Arpino wants to see how you do the cards in the videos.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you want to share, or do you want me to go to it?
Yeah, just go into a video you have up and hit the little pencil.
Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm in my content. So see right here on this video, I'm gonna click that.
You scroll down and there's there.
Right.
Subtitles
Cards.
and
See right here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if you come in here, you can decide. So this one has one, right? The grow your channel and your,
Yeah.
So see right there where it has the eye. That is where the card is in this video.
Okay.
But it makes it easy where you can come in, you can pick the time in your video where you want it to show up, and then you can select what that video would be.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Okay. And you can make templates for your cards. As you see here, it's like set this as a cards template. So they've made it pretty easy.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, shoot. I totally, I closed my entire browser instead of just stopping sharing. So there you go. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming. Are there any questions or are there any takeaways from our time today?
I have two quick questions.
Okay.
So we were sending our videos to our whole database
Mhm.
to get some, and is that something we shouldn't be doing? Because now that's an email click through into the YouTube when you mentioned don't have it come from email.
Ruby, if you want to add any thoughts on that, but yes, if you could share the channel and say, go to a video, I think that's better.
Okay.
You can do it on some videos, but not all videos. So like, don't just take every video you make and send it to your entire database. But if you did one or two throughout the year so that people are more likely to watch it because it's easy, that's
Okay.
fine. But you don't want all of your traffic source coming from email.
From email, right? And the other thing is, well, yeah, I would do that. You do want the views and you do want to share it with the, you know what, Aaron and Ruby, I'm curious, and I haven't even asked you this. I'm wondering if they did a custom audience ad on Facebook with a link to the video, and the custom audience was all the emails in your database.
That
could
would
be
probably
it.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Are you
not something I've
guys-
tried personally, but
I haven't
think
tried
would.
it either, but that's something that we might want to think about.
Okay.
And don't forget to get everybody in your immediate area, your office, wherever you're working, to play that video as soon as it comes out. They don't even
Mhm.
have to watch it. Just put it on play and let it go, because the velocity at which your video takes off also encourages the algorithm to shoot it out
make
to more
impressions.
people.
Yeah.
Okay. And do I need to worry that I'm posting in Facebook a YouTube link to send someone off to YouTube? Do I care on like my Facebook presence? Does that affect that?
It's the same as with the emails. You want some to come from there, but not all.
So I guess would it affect negatively on my Facebook?
No,
No,
So Facebook wouldn't care I'm sending people to YouTube.
no.
no. All Facebook would do is they just suppress your post, so very few people will see it.
Okay.
But if you do it within a private group,
Right.
or a group that you own, then it gets pretty decent exposure.
Okay.
But yeah, Facebook isn't going to be like, oh, Linda's sharing a YouTube video, block her out entirely. Just that post would not get pushed up.
Okay.
All right. Well, give me a couple takeaways and then we'll wrap up.
I liked all those analytics that we can start to look and see where people have come from. And the second was to be that much of an active user. Like,
Yeah.
they're watching you to see what kind of social engagement you're doing personally.
Yeah. The end of every day, if you can just like block off 15 minutes and go in YouTube and comment and like stuff, it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Bea and Linda, do you have anything? I think Linda had to step off.
Yeah, Linda stepped out, but I think for us, like when Linda was asking about like when people kind of like reach out to us and be like, oh, we can fix your YouTube. Like I've never, well, we haven't really reached out to them or anything like that, but usually like Linda will send them over to me and be like, how can you improve from this? And I was, take them with a grain of salt because you're trying to sell a business.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I've
So
not found anything that would be worth any money that you would spend other than TubeBuddy.
I think so too.
And
So I think it's
TubeBuddy
just,
stays in your control.
yeah. So it's good to hear like that's like not the way to go. Like you don't really need interactions with people, like, to like just boost, any interactivity like that. Although it is better to like take some initiative to like comment on other posts and, watch your own videos on your own time.
Right,
too.
right. Yeah, YouTube it's a very it wants you to be successful and it is continually refining how it supports you so that you will be successful. That's all it wants. All it wants is
Yeah.
people like me on YouTube every day that got rid of television because they watch YouTube.
So it used to be sub for sub. People would go onto other people's content and be like, I'll subscribe to your channel if you subscribe to mine, which is not a good way to build a channel because nobody's watching anybody's content.
Right.
But now that's been taken over by these companies or whatever that are like, oh, we'll get you subscribers or, that kind of thing. And it's all garbage and it's not going to grow your channel in the long
It's
run
not going to give you leads.
because it's not going to get you what you want as an agent
Mm.
or as a channel. So even if you had a channel on YouTube that wasn't anything about real estate and you weren't trying to get leads, if you have 5,000 subscribers and your average view on a video is about 100, that sends up huge red flags. Why aren't more of the subscribers watching the videos?
Watching the video. Yep.
So I would definitely steer clear of all of those. Just do the best practices and
Yep.
just make each video and upload better.
Yeah, and I
Right.
think another thing too is like recently we've been focusing more on like the home tours and stuff, which actually was a good way to just get views and like have a consistent posting. But I think that will probably transition back into like Linda kind of being the more the focus of the content, just like
Mhm.
face, because we did find that I went on a couple caravans with Linda where she was like actually in them, like, 'cause
Right.
usually it was by myself and it was like no people were in it. So it's just like a nice house. Even though like if there were people, I just cut them out. So I think that it's good to know where like the real interaction is like with a person on the channel. So then we can like kind of pivot our content as well.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. People
All
are
right,
there to connect
guys,
with people.
keep it going. Keep it going. I will talk to you all next week.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.